what you made me do. Look what I made for you.
His name is
Old man Wayne. I live by the funk. I die by the funk. Old man Wayne. Old man.
I'm about to do something terrible.
Old man Wayne. Old man. Old man.
Nope, not doing this. We're not doing this.
Ha ha. Point. Old man. Old man. Old man. Old man.
Welcome to the Old Man Wade Show. I'm your host, the God of Stubborn, the Lord of Laughter, Old Man Wade, and I'm sitting here with the superior Super Woke Harvey and the uncanny Brandon Norton. Gentlemen, how y'all doing?
That's good. I like that.
Yo, we chilling out here, bro. It's cold. It's cold in Boston. Like,
it's like angry. It's like Bobby
In
Drake woke up.
Boston,
Yeah, Bobby Drake woke up and his nuts were like, yo.
like, like I don't know if you've ever been to Chicago in the winter. Like, Chicago has a cold that gets into your bones. As I was born and raised in Boston, so I can deal with the cold. When I went to Chicago, it wasn't even like dead in the winter. I'm like, yo, this is a different type of cold. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if it's like global warming or climate change, but I felt that cold this past week, and I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
y'all got Boston bones. Imagine that it was 9 degrees in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, that's
week.
crazy.
It was
That was
9
wait,
degrees?
what?
Yes, it was 9 degrees in Dallas, Texas last week.
Like,
2 days before that, it was 66. So you went from 66 to 9 degrees in 2 days and snowing.
so what's like? Do you consider that like a state of emergency? Like the whole state shuts down? Like,
People act like it.
no, it's crazy.
People act like it.
Wait, 66 degrees to 9 degrees in a 1 day swing.
Yes. 2 days later, it was 2 days.
That's nuts. I think we're in a polar vortex or something like that, right? I could
That's
be
what it
wrong.
was.
Yeah. So that's why everywhere is just way colder than it usually is right now. And those
Like today is 37, which is kind of cool for Dallas, but at the end of the week it's going to be 65.
I mean, 37 is close to black ice territory. Like that's when I think about Texas, I don't think about like y'all been dealing with some serious.
Yeah, because
weather.
Texas don't have trucks, and I mean they have some now, but like 2 years ago when we had that freeze, we ain't had no trucks, no salt, no snow removal, none of that.
Yo,
And
I had an ex that went to Coppin State, and she's from Boston. So I'm talking to her one day. She had called me in the middle of the day. I'm like, yo, shouldn't you be in school? She goes, yeah. And she was like, nah, class was canceled. I'm like, oh, like, word, everything good? She goes, yeah, there's ice on the roads. I'm like, okay, well, why are you not in class? She was like, because there's ice on the road. And she was like, they're just not like I'm so used to it, but there was like they're not like Baltimore isn't used to like that kind of weather.
No, that ain't true. It's just that Coppin's cheap as hell and it's in the hood. Coppin is literally in the hood. We call it University of North Avenue.
That's fucking funny.
you know what I want people to stop doing, right? Like when you see like Atlanta or Dallas dealing with like what we consider a little bit of snow, right? And then we clown them. We go like, oh, like you guys are whack because you can't deal with 1 inch of snow, blah, 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 blah. Like they don't have the infrastructure for it. You know what I mean? Like if we like New England, we're kind of different. We get like every type of weather. But if we had like 2 weeks of 105-degree weather and people are like dropping down, passing out and dying and stuff like that, like same thing with people from Texas, like
we had 26 straight days of over 100 degrees this summer.
That's crazy. But I mean, every building, I'm assuming every building in Texas has like the coldest AC.
Well, you got to. You can't
you know
survive
what I mean?
in 107 with no AC over and over.
Like a bunch of us here in the Northeast, we got ACs that we just put up in the windows in the summer. You know what I mean? So like,
you summer, know, my AC is still in the thing. Me and Maria, we got that project heat, and it's freaking annoying.
You guys definitely don't live in the projects. You live in what might have used to be the projects, but are there projects where you live? No, Rich man Wade?
Rich man.
They made a joke on American Fiction, which y'all both should go see, but that took place in Boston, and the Jeffrey Wright was like, oh, y'all just because they were basically saying he an author, and they were basically saying he write books that aren't black enough. It was like what the conversation he was having. And then the guy Jeffrey Wright made a joke. He was like, "Oh, you want me to write a book like I'm a struggling guy in Dorchester?" And then the guy who wrote the guy his agent was like, Dorchester's been kind of like gentrified. It's not really that black and struggling no more."
Yeah,
I bet,
well, Dorchester is definitely black, but it's definitely gentrified. It's crazy. You see, it's like it's still the hood because Boston's so small. So Dorchester is definitely still part of the hood, you know.
yeah.
But then you'll see like a random like white lady jogging, and you're like, yo, what?
Yeah, motherfuckers still get shot and still get shot in on Phil's Corner. Let's not get it twisted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. But my mom lives near Fields Corner. She bought her house for like, well, whatever. She bought her house for a lot less than it's worth right now. Like, so
Years and years ago.
yeah. I don't want to put the number out there, but it's crazy.
Over 9,000.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so it's been a while since we recorded. I got sick last week. I went on I went on vacation. Went to one of my closest friends, Jelani. He had got married, and if y'all don't know, Jelani is a rapper. Goes by Battle Axe. He's got more than a few albums out now. He actually does the intro for the Old Man Wade show. So shout out to him and his lovely bride. It was a fantastic event. And you know it's good. Like getting 100 people in a wedding alone is dope. Getting over 100 people to go to a destination wedding, that really tells you the type of person that they are, type of people that they are. Excuse me. But anyway, um, since we haven't recorded in a while, we decided Brandon had the idea like, yo, we need to do our awards. We need to like talk about all like our favorite things of the year and like our favorite comic book moments and things like that. So Brandon put together a list. But before we get into the list, I do want to ask all of you, Javi, I'll let you go first. What are you looking forward to in 2024 comic book wise?
So you want me to go first?
Yes.
All right. So it's very Marvel heavy. Like I read 99% of what I read was Marvel. So which will be reflected in my general award showing, right? So whatever. Judge all you want. Whatever. So this will be another Marvel dominant part of this list. So first will be the Dominion. Um, we've been teased with this being for a while, ever since Fall of X, and I think it's even before Fall of X, Sins of Sinister.
Yes.
Actually, we first got wind of the Dominion, and if it is what I think it is, it's going to be one of the biggest big bads. And it's one of the things that makes me think that Marvel is gonna merge a lot of these events, Gods, Fall of X, all that into like one giant summer event. And I think the Dominion is gonna play a big part in that. So ever since the Age of Krakoa started, when we saw Moira travel into the future and die and come back in the past, whatever. It's a long story. One of the major threats that she saw was that eventually humans and mutants will be superseded by AI, which is the end game essentially. So it looks like Sinister, one of its clones, the original Sinister, Essex, whatever. I don't know who did it. We don't know yet, right? Tried to become that being before the AI can control everything. And that's what the Dominion is. It's super powerful. Like it's even, in the white hot room doing whatever it wants, which is crazy if you know anything about the cosmic Marvel universe. So I'm excited to see that. Also Gods. I was actually gonna put Gods as my most disappointing comic book, but that's until the last issue. The last issue really started to make it look interesting, and now I'm kind of excited to see what happens in the future, especially now that we have Oblivion, which another powerful cosmic being that some people say is even more powerful than the one above all, who will be here after the one above all dies. So that's gonna be crazy. If you read the last issue of Gods, like if you haven't, please read it. Dominion flexes. It's crazy. Not Dominion, sorry. Oblivion flexes. Oblivion always flexes. You rarely see this character just because how powerful he is. So when they pull him out, something crazy is gonna happen. Well, them out, because I don't think it's gendered. And then more Marvel Spotlight. I really liked Echo. In Marvel Spotlight, according to Kevin Feige, is going to be more self-contained stories in the MCU, concentrating more on characters. I think Werewolf by Midnight was also another Marvel Spotlight show, which was great. It gives them a lot of flexibility, and it's I think it's injecting a little bit more life into the MCU, and that's exactly what it needs.
I can't wait till we talk about Echo in another episode. I have thoughts.
Yeah, we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I'm pretty sure we all have things to say. Brandon, do you have what you're looking forward to?
Yeah, mine's is quite simple. I'm ready for X-Men in the MCU. So X-Men 97 is the first thing we're gonna get this year, which is a continuation on X-Men the animated series, which I'm absolutely looking forward to. And then Deadpool 3, which also is I'm pretty sure gonna bring some mutants into the MCU, which comes out in July. So I think this is the beginning of X-Men. And there's a comic book podcast that I do like, and they were talking about, and the title of the episode was like, y'all hate everything or something like that. And it was basically going through like, y'all saying Star Wars is the worst. Now Marvel stuff is the worst, and this is the worst, and that's what everything can't be the worst. But everything is y'all act like everything is. That's basically what the whole episode was just talking about. People complaining about everything, and it was like, yeah, some things aren't as good as others. There's been some mistakes, but like it's not everything is not bad. And if you say everything is bad, you're just saying everything is bad because that's what gets the most clicks. And they played a clip from like some Comicsgate podcast. On the Comicsgate podcast, the girl was like, I really hate that I can't talk about the stuff that I like, because when I talk about the stuff that I like, it doesn't get any clicks. But when we talk about Captain Marvel or this or that, it goes viral. So that's all we talk about. And they basically just gave the game away, like right on their show, just gave the game away. It's like, yeah, I can complain about Captain Marvel all day and my show goes viral, but I talk about the comic books that I actually like and enjoy, and no one wants to listen to it, which means they're not listening for you. They're listening because you're giving them what they want to hear that makes them feel good about their whatever problem they got with women or people of color or anything else of that nature. And so I say that to say the one thing that I think might get everyone out of this I hate everything is mutants. Because I think everyone, even the terrible people, want to see mutants.
Yeah, I hope so. I actually have a little bit of a rant on that in one of the sections that we talked about that, because I agree. It's getting very frustrating listening to people just like everything is a complaint. And I was actually having a conversation with Valkyrie about our show, and I was like, we could easily do a show and all we do is just talk about everything we hate and then lie about the stuff that we hate and become the comic book version of Fresh and Fit. But that's not what we do. Like, you know what I mean? Like more than like we don't sugarcoat stuff. We don't like something, right. Like, yo, we didn't like it. But I refuse to be like those, what are they called? Red pill dudes? Is that what they are?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep.
I refuse to be one of those red pill dudes. Like we could.
Let me tell you the problem with women today. Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Hey, yo, Brandon, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, bro. I love you, dog, but people are gonna complain about the X-Men.
They are. They absolutely
gonna be too woke. Beast isn't gonna be blue enough. Like,
yo, why is Beast only horizon blue?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Wolverine's gonna be like, I don't know, too woke.
Why did he growl so much?
Yeah, why did he grind on Thor's leg? I don't like it.
People had a hissy fit when Deadpool came out as pansexual. I'm like, if y'all are shocked by that, y'all have never read a Deadpool comic in your life.
Oh, fact. like, the Marvels was an objectively
no, don't skip it because I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna get on that too. So
I got
something. So for me, the most exciting, the one thing I'm looking forward to more than anything else is easily the I'm not gonna say easily because I changed it about 8 times, but Jason Aaron taking over as Ninja Turtles is the most exciting thing I'm looking forward to. Initially, it was Wolverine and whether or not he's going to die, but I want to talk about that on a future episode. But I'm going to go with Jason Aaron taking over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I think we're in that era where a lot of writers are getting like their dream job because most of them are around our age or a little bit older, so they grew up watching Ninja Turtles, they grew up reading Ninja Turtles. Just like and shout out to Brandon for putting me and Javi on to the Energon universe. And I'm loving it so much because I'm seeing a more adult versions of these cartoons that I used to watch. And it's super dope because everybody who's been writing this understands the assignment. Reading Cobra Commander, God, please don't ever let me live that down. Cobra Commander, and it was like Cobra, la 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 la. I busted out laughing. I was like, this, like, yep, he understood the assignment, and it's little things like that that make me happy. Excuse me. And I think Jason Aaron is really going to bring a lot of flavor and adultness. I don't even know if that's a word.
Jason,
Huh?
Jason Aaron, I can tell you this that since I just started it, but I'm like 10 episodes. I started from like 28 episodes, 20 like 25 issues back. So I just wanted to get a 25 issue head start, and I'm like 7 or 8 into that.
Yeah.
So 2 years of Turtles. Jason Aaron has his work cut out for him. This Turtles book right now is incredible. Incredible. So as great as Jason Aaron is, he's got to live up to the standard. He's not going to bring the standard. He's got to meet that standard.
That's dope.
Of that Turtles book.
That makes me even more excited because after you talked about it last week, I went and did a little research on like what people were saying about it, and people are talking about how like this could be like one of the best Ninja Turtle runs of all time.
Oh,
and
great.
that made me happy. So I was like, all right, cool. So like we're back at it. But it's funny I say back at it, but the Ninja Turtles have always been popular, and I didn't realize this. And my wife was like, "It makes sense." But the Ninja Turtles as a franchise has made more money than the Avengers, and it makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah,
they've been around longer. Yeah. They've been around longer. It's not just, and it's more than just the movies, it's the cartoons, it's the merchandise and all this other stuff. So it makes a lot of sense.
Like they've been like a mass consumer, like just success story since the 80s. Like, like Marvel was bankrupt for much of that time, right? Like early 90s, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have always been successful. Like I can't think of anything that they've done that hasn't been like it's varying levels of quality early on, but it's always been successful.
Shit, the movie they did on Netflix, the like with the new Turtles, I hadn't seen anything from that particular show. But I sat back and I was like, you know what, I gotta watch this for research. And it was incredible. Like not knowing anything about that show, they did such a good job on this movie in less than an hour and a half. You didn't need to know the dynamic of the Turtles. They explained everything perfectly and made it easy to follow the entire story along. And that's the mark of a really good franchise, when you don't need to explain who these things are. It's like with Spider-Man. A lot of people, me included, were happy. It's like, yo, I don't need to see Uncle Ben die again. We get it. It's like, you know what I mean? So once you know the story, you don't need to do that. And I'm hoping that with Superman, like we don't need to see him fall from Krypton. We already know what happened. Let's just get right into faster than a speeding bullet. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
All right. So first up on our list, we have best ongoing series. Javi, what was your favorite ongoing series?
Yeah, it was hard. So much good stuff. Like there was so much good stuff coming out of 2023, which was a year that was a blur to me, to be honest with you. So I just had to pick the one that I enjoyed personally the most. And Doctor Strange hasn't missed all year.
That was Jed McKay, right?
Jed McKay and Amy Chu. Just like what they're doing with the character after the death of Doctor Strange. He's been gone. He was gone for a while. He came back and he just flexed. One of my favorite stories coming out of that, actually, and they're kind of like they're kind of going back into his past, right, and kind of closing a lot of like unfinished stories thing, because Doctor Strange, there's a lot of things that happens to Doctor Strange, and you kind of like he uses just magic or the Vishanti or whatever, it just kind of like erases it and he's back to square one, right, without any real consequences. But a lot of those consequences are coming back. One of them is I don't know if you remember, the Vishanti once used Doctor Strange to fight in 1,000-year war, and we didn't really know, we weren't aware of what happened at that time. He just came back, he fought the war, and like they erased that memory. Well, it happened, and the Doctor Strange that fought that war came back and just made a mess of everything. And it gave us an opportunity to see Doctor Strange just totally at a power level we've never seen before. Like he's just been flexing. His romance, his I'm I'm forgetting her name, bro.
Clea.
Yes, Clea. That romance is awesome. She's clearly evil, right? But she has a heart. And I just love it. I just love the story. I love the family dynamic. I love the artwork. Like it doesn't miss, bro. Like it's just great. Read Doctor Strange, please. If you like, it's one of the best comic books out right now.
Brandon, what was yours?
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, from Boom Studios. This is a franchise that I haven't thought about in years and years and years. And they brought it back because there've been many iterations of Power Rangers. And I'm sure there's a lot of Power Ranger fans out there, but nothing has hit mainstream like the 90s Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's still the Power Rangers to many, many people. And so seeing them come back has gotten me back. But throughout the series, they've integrated other types of Rangers, new Rangers, things like that. And you start to learn those characters. And now we're at a point where they're telling unbelievable stories. People that you would not expect to become Rangers have become Rangers, that you remember from the original show.
Really?
And the story, the show, the story just keeps going and getting bigger. And the world is now opened up a Power Ranger multiverse, and it's like this big universe of Ranger stuff that, quite frankly, it has brought me back to my childhood. So I've really enjoyed that greatly.
Love it. You've been on that for a little bit, not even for a little bit, for a while. So
The
Yes,
Boom Studios doesn't miss. ID, like these non big three studios, IDW. This is the second from both of you guys that came from IDW and Boom in this list, and I can't agree more, especially with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I will say this, old man, you're showing your age, and I'm older than you.
what I do?
So not old man, sorry, Brandon. You're showing your age, and I'm old. See, I'm old. I can't keep track of things. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the OGs, definitely, what I think about in my childhood, right? But there were so many Power Ranger franchises that like made billions and billions of dollars, super successful, and were actually really good. Like, Space Defense Force and all this other stuff,
yeah,
all these
but
other,
they were never mainstream big.
Oh, I mean,
You know how I know that? Because when they remade the movie, what they do? The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
You're right. But none of the kids that were young enough to, watch Power Rangers at that time were even alive with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was a thing. So, but I get what you're saying. But I'm a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan, and I actually like a lot of the other franchises. So I'm a little biased.
So for me, I'm going, and it's funny, you both of you guys went with like, kind of like not obscure, but like comic book characters that weren't like part of like the big, like, big name ones. And it's funny considering what my pick is I'm going against my personal feelings, even though I love this comic book, Batman, Superman, World's Finest. I picked it up late last year and just ran right through it. Like it's so fun. It's Dick Grayson, as Robin when he's really young. Like he's so young, he's going on a date with Kara. He's still got like his super, like they're explaining like his love for Superman as a hero. Batman's super jealous about it. It's kind of funny. Uh, it's really well written. It's super fun. It's really smart too. So you're not getting these like stupid like the like sometimes like you read something it's like it's too inside, you know what I mean, for a book to be good. This was
Hmm.
it's perfect. It's really fun. It's really again smart. I know I said it like three times, but Mark Waid did a really good job writing this. And because it's not necessarily in, I don't know if it's in the same universe or not, but because it's not happening in the current time, it makes it that much more enjoyable because they're telling new stories or they're telling old stories, but they're telling them for a more modernized group of people. It's funny, the art's dope. I got to see the birth of Magog or whatever his name is. So I highly recommend that. So I'm gonna start off the next section with best miniseries. I'm going with if I'm only gonna pick one, no, I'll go with two. Uncanny Avengers and Predator. Predator series is exactly what you'd want from a Predator comic book. You're finding out that the Predators apparently have like traveled through time to capture people to bring them to their like planet for like killing. There's this new character. Her name is Thaka or something like that. I can't remember her actual name. I'll look it up. But she's a new character whose family and all the people who were there were killed by predators. And so now she has like a blood feud with them and she's trying to kill. She's already killed the one who killed her family, but now she's not stopping. She's like, nope, all y'all got to go. Everyone, every predator. Her name is actually Theta, Theta. I'm gonna go with Uncanny X Men. Uh, it's also because Jerry Duggan's my guy. You guys know it. For people who don't know, Jerry Duggan's one of my favorite writers. And he's been doing a bang up job with the X Men universe. And it was funny as hell watching uh, Monet St. Croix as an Avenger because she totally does not fit with that team at all. So those are my picks. What do you, Brandon? What do you got for yours?
I got the Human Target, a character that I'd never heard of ever before this book, but Tom King was writing it, and whenever Tom King writes an obscure character, it's been excellent. And so I was like, oh, he's writing another obscure character. Let me check this out. And this book is basically the Human Target impersonates people, and Lex Luthor hired him to impersonate him because he thought somebody was trying to kill him. Somebody was trying to kill him, and they poisoned him. And now they're trying to figure out who was actually trying to kill Lex, so that they could try to stop whatever's happening to him, right? And so they basically go each issue is a day because he's only got like 2 weeks to live. Each whatever it is, 10 days to live. So each issue is a day of trying to figure out what the hell's happened. And you see violence, you see love, you see anger, you see cunningness. It's like every emotion is throughout this book. It was excellent.
That cover art was fantastic too. I actually, it's funny because after you talked about it on your recommendation, I bought it and just never actually finished the read. So I have it all. I just haven't actually sat down and read it. Javi, what's yours?
All right, hold on. I was trying to do something here. Ultimate Invasion. Um,
It's
like
funny. You
Oh
made me
yeah.
change mine. You made me change
yeah.
mine. That was a big.
Um, like just this scene in particular. The scene in which the first issue made me fall in love, right? Because I love the Maker. I love a good villain, and sometimes I like when the villain wins, right? Like
Mhm.
I'm not sure. I don't know the way it ended. I don't even know if you can say he lost, but the Maker was able to bring back the Ultimate Universe, which
Mhm.
is responsible for a lot of the feelings, that a lot of the mood that we get from the MCU, Miles Morales, right? A lot of dope storylines.
Oh, real quick, I just want to say that I thought it was really cool that the Maker gave Miles a chance to go back to his home reality. I thought that
Yeah.
I thought that was super dope of him. I know there was something behind it or whatever, but it was still kind of a cool moment even if you knew he was gonna play him at the end of it. But anyway, sorry, I just want to get that out.
Yep. And you just see the thing. Also, I think thing I like about the Maker is that it's kind of showing Mr. Fantastic, right? All that genius that Mr. Fantastic has with no limiters.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes him it makes him smarter. It makes him more of a genius. It makes his plans even more successful because he doesn't have to worry about family. Which is actually pretty interesting. When you brought up the Miles Morales thing, I was going to bring that up. Kind of like that's the connection. I think that's kind of the spirit of Mr. Fantastic that still exists in him. He's still evil. He still wants to do it for probably a effed up reason, but Miles Morales is his family because they come from the same universe, and he understood that, right? And also, I think what's most important about this series is what's coming after. The most recent that a lot of people are talking about the Spider-Man issue that exists in this new Ultimate Universe that the Maker made. It's an opportunity for Marvel to really kind of do different things with these characters, right? Again, something that I think is much needed. New stories, different takes, and it's written by who's doing this? Not Hickman. Who's doing this?
It's Hickman.
It's Hickman, yes. So exactly. So it's being written by Hickman, one of the best world builders in the world, and they're building a new world. So what's there to complain about?
I remember when I first started that, I immediately hit y'all up like, y'all are gonna love this issue when you guys get to the, and I couldn't tell you that it was because of the Cabal, but when they got to the Cabal, I was like, yo, this is super dope, and I was like, I know Javier and Brandon are gonna really dig that. Next category, we have best non-Big Two book. Brandon, what do you got?
Void Rivals. I really enjoyed Void Rivals. So I always want to try out new books on Image, and you never know, because sometimes they'll be good and then they just stop it, right? So it's kind of hard with Image to get on board with something. But I saw the cover of this book and I was just like, oh, this looks interesting. And this there's a category later that talks about this, but there's at the end of the book you basically get a cameo, and I was just completely blown away because I had not been keeping up with the news, so I didn't know this was going to happen, and I was just like, what am I reading? Like, what happened here? And then I kept reading the book and the cameos went away, but the story grabbed me, and now I'm into the story, and it's an allegory. It's in the universe with the Transformers now, but the story itself is kind of like an Autobots Decepticon allegory to an extent, of how the people look once they found out how each other looks when they never seen each other before. Like, it's very fascinating. And now they're telling this story that's got me invested in the characters, not just the surprises. So I look forward to Void Rivals coming out every 3 weeks, every 3 or 4 weeks.
Javi, what's yours?
So my selection for not Big Two is actually going to be a manga. So it's definitely not the Big Two here, right? And my video paused for some reason. That's weird. Whatever. Super distracting. I'm going with Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So I know both of you guys probably don't know what that is at all. It's the sequel to the Naruto series. It involves his son. If anybody knows anything about Naruto, that manga is going on for 20 plus years. It's a shonen manga, which means you have the character that's constantly increasing their power levels. It could get a little tedious sometimes if it's not done well. But what they did with this new series is that they kind of, I don't know how they did it, but they made it even more interesting. Like the character development, everything was never affected by the tedium that you usually get from these Shonen Jump books. And the way they do that is by kind of like ignoring some of the normal tropes, right? A lot of these characters are coming super powerful from the beginning, right? So you don't have to worry about this power creep that constantly you see in these mangas, and it can concentrate more on the story. and I'm excited to see where the son of Naruto, a nerd, a character that's gonna be on a lot of nerds Mount Rushmore, see what his son and his legacy is up to, and what's gonna happen moving forward.
So for me, I'm going with something is killing the children. Again, shout out to Brandon, was letting me know that this writer who used to do Batman for a little while, James Tynion, was writing a book called The Deviant. And I picked up, and he was like, "Oh, he's also writing this other book called Something Is Killing the Children." And he was like, "Oh, I want to get into it." And I was like, I got time. It's free on Comixology. I went and grab it, and I couldn't put it down. I ran through the entire. I got up to date on the comic book in less than a month. I was like, this is absolutely amazing. It's a comic book about what monsters are, how they're created, the people who are charged with stopping them, the like what they have to do, and how it gets really disgusting. And I think that the main character, Erica Slaughter, I truly believe that she's gonna end up becoming one of the greatest comic book characters of all time. She's ruthless, not ruthless. Let me say that she's cunning. She knows how to fight. She has a really tragic backstory, which everybody loves. She's got a kind heart despite all of our stuff going on. And in the very last issue, we see her just like lose again. And I don't want to spoil anything because I really do believe that people should go read this particular title. But the point of her doing something was taken away from her, and it is causing her like even more pain. So now she may have to go do something that she never wanted to do, and it's an absolutely fantastic series. It's I honestly think it I almost picked it as my comic book of the year, but I was trying to make sure that I picked different things for the list. But this could have easily been my favorite comic book of the year. Best DC comic book, I'm going Superman by Joshua Williamson. He he doesn't miss. Joshua Williamson doesn't miss. Just that's really all I gotta say. He's not doing Transformers. I think he's doing Cobra Commander, and I think he's doing
Yeah,
Duke
he's
as
doing
well.
Cobra Commander.
And I think he's doing Duke as well. And both of those comic books have been fantastic. But what he's doing with Superman has been, pardon the pun, super fun. He's turned Lex Luthor into a de facto hero, but Lex is still an arrogant ass. So you can kind of tell that this is not going to go the way he thinks it's going to go. He's like helping Superman from jail. Superman is in charge of LexCorp, which I think is now called Supercorp. Lex's daughter is back, and she still has the three little brainiac indentions in her head. Lex's mom is back. It's We find out that Luthor had, shocking to no one, was a dick to some people before Superman was even alive. He kept some people captured, and like there's a whole group of people like just specifically designed to try to kill Lex, and they're just as smart as Lex, if not smarter. Uh, Absolutely, and it's visually stunning too. You're getting new characters out of this as well. It's great. So that's mine. Javi, DC comic book of the year.
So I didn't read a lot of DC books. Like I admitted in the beginning of this. But the ones that I did read were actually pretty good. Um, so Deceased War of the Undead Dogs. So the
Oh,
Deceased series has been going on for quite a while. Um, even before 2023. I was avoiding it because I thought it was just a copy of Marvel Zombies, and I couldn't have been more wrong. Um, it's just a great book. I usually enjoy DC Elseworlds books. And this one, sometimes they make them a little dark, a little too dark. But this made sense. A lot of characters that you normally don't see take the lead were able to take the lead. A lot of the younger characters, what's Superboy's what's Superboy's name? What's Superman's son's name?
John.
John. Yes, John was a standout character in this book. We got to see some crazy scenes. Mr. Lick as a zombie is probably something that I'll never ever forget. And it really just was an exciting, fun book.
So
And
they
I can't
gave
recommend it more. I can't recommend it any more than anybody else.
two things that made me laugh. Guy Gardner talking shit to Darkseid.
Bro. And not any dark side.
Darkseid with the yellow lantern ring.
Bro. Like that's crazy. Like the things that happened in this book. I mean, any you pick any one of these characters and put them in the normal DC universe, and they're taking over. Period.
Yeah, and the evolution of these characters, and I don't know if you read the spin-offs, but there was one with Jason Todd where he was training a young group of kids in Gotham because they had to leave, and they were being trained by Cheetah, Bane, Deathstroke. What's Raven's? What's Deathstroke's daughter's name?
Terra, right?
No, what is her name? Rose.
Oh, his
Rose.
actual daughter. Yes.
Yeah, Rose and Jason Todd, and they were all training him. And what ended up making this so great was even like the hardest of the villains were like fell in love with these kids because like they didn't have anything left.
Mhm.
And so when you in like it wasn't Bizarro, it was Solomon Grundy was there. It was super cool. So even like the stuff that came in between that was so fun. There was another part of that where one of those side comics where there was Zombie Kite Man and Damian is flying the invisible plane while Supergirl and John Kent were flying, and it ran right into Damian Wayne into the invisible plane, and it was like Kite Man, and they all just laughed. Brandon, what was yours?
Well, to be quick, it was Superman. Everything you said.
Wow. You know what's funny? I was certain you were gonna go Nightwing.
No, it was Superman.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe how much I really liked that comic book either.
Mhm.
Like it's been great, and creating new characters has made it even better. And also watching like Superman, and it's still connecting to the Action Comics as well. So it's not like we're just getting like comic books without a connection. So they're doing a damn good job over there with Superman. Uh, Best Marvel book, Brandon, you go first.
X-Men Red. Al Ewing is a master. I think Al Ewing writes out of non-white writers. Out of white writers, I think he writes non-white characters better than anyone.
I agree.
And Storm was the leader of this team, well, this book essentially. And it basically, Storm was always popular, but she's kind of been in the background for a while, and he's kind of made Storm a star again. And that story has been central to this Krakoa movement, particularly off planet. And so it ended recently, and I thought it ended with um a great war and a great story, and from start to finish, it was excellent.
I agree. Like it was, and you know what's funny? I don't know if I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much if Javi didn't push me to read Sword, which came out. Was it 2 years ago, Javi?
Man, honestly, I feel like this Krakoa Araco era has been going on like for 80 years at this point. It's just so many stories. So I think it was about 2 years.
Yeah, because I know the Krakoa era started like right when COVID, like in September of 2020.
Yeah, but there's so much coming out of it. So much.
Like I really do feel that like once it's over, I really feel like the three of us should go back and like read it all and like go back and talk about all the stuff that we may have missed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Javi, what do you got for best Marvel comic?
The Immortal Thor. Listen, Thor's probably my favorite hero. And
Here go that name again, Al Ewing.
Al Ewing, he's a beast. The artwork is crazy. It reminds me, especially the cover art reminds me of the Immortal Hulk books.
Artist, it's Alex Ross.
Okay. Is it Alex Ross? I mean, it does look like Alex Ross style, but for some reason it's a little it doesn't look as oil painty, but it's great. Every
A little
cover's
more
been great.
digitized, it seems like.
Yeah. But you know, as we all know, if you're reading Thor, if you've been keeping up with Thor in the comic books, he is the All Father. He has the Thor force. So at this point, Thor should be more powerful than any, you know, normal character. Like pick a powerful character and Thor should be able to beat them. In some way, some fashion. And we're seeing him, and it's not even just about the power, it's just about the responsibility and knowledge
Yes.
of being the king of Asgard, and the All Father, and we're seeing him come into that role in this series. We're also seeing him take on not just powerful characters, as is it the Unter Thor? I don't know what you call those
The
beings,
Uther Thor.
the Unter Thor,
Uther
but
Thor.
we're also seeing him mature as an All Father, with the help of surprisingly Loki. Um,
Non-binary Loki.
non-binary Loki. It's a great book, man. It's character development for a character that's been around for generations, and we're actually seeing Thor in a light that we've never seen him in before, with the responsibility that we've never seen him in before, and with a power level, surprisingly, that at certain times he's able to harness the Odin force when necessary, but it was always temporary. But he's on a different level, man, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the Immortal Thor.
One of the things I'm loving about Immortal Thor, especially, is like watching him be smarter. Like the way he defeated Unter Thor was
Mm-hmm.
brilliant.
Great. That would have been my best team book of the year if it was it wasn't just one chapter
The
or two
Thor
chapters.
Force.
Yeah.
Brandon, you went. Oh, so for me, it was the best. What was the best Marvel book? I think I did mine right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you didn't do yours.
Oh,
That's
just the
Marvel
X
book.
titles, just everything X-Men related. Like I couldn't pick just one, so I'm going all of them. Everything.
You
They've
cheated.
just
All 2000.
all 2,000 of them. Every one of them has been gold. But
I didn't like Helgens. Did you
huh?
read Excalibur?
No.
So,
But
so
Excalibur was
except for Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Excalibur
Yeah,
was pretty bad.
Excalibur was
I couldn't read
2022 though.
Excalibur.
Oh no,
I
Excalibur
couldn't read
did come out
Excalibur.
last year. Oh yeah, I forgot that. You know what's funny about that is though, I
I
didn't
couldn't read Excalibur.
I didn't expect to like Dark Realm of X, or no, Realm of X, and Realm of X was really good.
I didn't read it. I,
Realm
I
of X,
couldn't I just couldn't do it.
Realm of X was really good.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was different. In seeing Typhoid Mary was as like doing the right thing was cool. But if I had to pick one, if I'm gonna pick one book as my comic book of the year, then I'm probably gonna go Deadpool by Alyssa Wong. It was fun. I got uh dog Deadpool, I got action, I got romance, I got more Deadpool, I got Lady Deathstrike as Auntie Deathstrike. It was it was something I look forward to every year. And I know some people were like, some people, this was like one of the dumbest complaints ever. Oh, Alyssa Wong wrote themselves into the comic book to date Deadpool. I'm like, look, if I wrote a comic, I'd be dating Monet St. Croix. So what do you want? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Y'all know who I'd be dating.
Emma
100%.
Frost.
Yeah, exactly.
So best teen book, and for me this was kind of shocking because it just started like maybe in June or July. I'm going Titans.
Mm.
And mostly because I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. It's a team that shouldn't be leading the world, but they're doing a damn good job doing it. Dick Grayson is the anti-Batman, and I'm loving it. I'm loving Dick Grayson, the leader. Like it's so damn good. And people are also fucking around and finding out that Raven is not the one. And it's been good. And also seeing Beast Boy evolve as a character and not just like, just a background goof. And seeing like like what he's passionate about and seeing where it's going. I'm really rocking with Titans as my best team book of the year. Hobby, what you got?
Uncanny Avengers. Another X-Men book. But well, it's an Avengers book, but it's an X-Men book.
Yeah.
It's part of the Fall of X series. And I really only like it because of the Avenger on that team. Um, you know, Captain America leading a squad of angry, pissed off mutants that are that are murdering everybody.
And Steve can't do anything about it.
I don't think he wants to, because honestly, Orcus is the closest thing to Nazis since the Red Skull in these books, right? So he's like, yo, these dudes are fascists, bro. But seriously though, one of the issues I did have with the Krakoan era of mutants is they became a bit xenophobic, bro. I get it, but I mean, if you have the power of resurrection, right, and all this other amazing things, right? Like I don't know. I feel like you should be a little less stingy with it. Like, I never understood why mutants were so afraid of humans. I mean, Orcus is kind of proven that, even though it's probably more of an android robot thing.
They're afraid of humans. Look at all they did. Like their entire mutant existence.
Yeah, but look at what certain mutants have done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, a human can't destroy a whole city with a thought. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. I get it. Nobody's right in the situation.
I don't know. I've met some thoughts in my days,
bro. Yeah, definitely run a city with a thought. Now, see, this is hard.
What are you talking about? Entire wars have been fought over thoughts.
Yo, facts. Horrible. So this is definitely not a red pill show. So just so y'all know. But
hey, dudes can be thoughts too. Let's not even act like
facts.
What did Ludacris say? Hoes don't feel so bad and blue because most of us niggas is hoes too.
100%.
Sorry about
that. But I like the wordplay. But I think that, I always look at like what I assume would be the consequences moving forward from these storylines, and I feel like, the Uncanny Avengers will be one of those moments or teams that will kind of force certain mutants to understand that they need humanity. They're part of humanity. They're augmented, they have the X gene, but they're all in it together, bro. When Galactus comes to poop all over the planet, like, it'd be good if you had a team of mutants and human superheroes to deal with it. And I think that this is the beginning of that.
Brandon, what's your team of the year?
It was X-Men. It was X-Men Red, and I already talked about it.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm not changing. That's what it is. All right, next up, most surprising comic book. Brandon, you go first.
Mine was Poison Ivy.
You've been heavy on that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna start that next week, just because on your recommendation. And I hate saying these words, but Brandon was right a lot in 2023.
I'm not right often, but I've been right a little. I've been
nah.
Give yourself some credit, dog. You were right. Comic book wise, you have been right a lot this year, dog.
I'll go beyond this year, yo. Like, you've introduced me to a lot of books.
For real.
Here's the thing. There's a difference between me and Old Man. This is where his Lord of Stubborn comes in.
All father of stubborn.
All father of stubborn. Because Old Man does not like often getting other people's opinions. He likes to form his own opinions about things, which is good. But I am very much the same way, except when I find people who constantly give good opinions, then I go, okay, I'm going to consider that, particularly when people are looking at a variety. It started about this when I was in the movies, right? And then after I found people who was like, even they didn't like everything I liked, the way they discussed the movies made sense. They were using logic. I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is somebody that can, when they recommend, hey, you should go check this movie out. And then I check one out. Then I check the next one out. Then I check the next one out. And I'm like, oh, these are good movies. I'm like, oh, okay. I may not like everything this person likes, but I can see their logic when they're telling me, check this movie out. So I'm going to check the movie out. So I found that with some comic book people. I found some comic book people who are talking about, because everybody, it's easy to pick up Spider-Man or pick up X-Men or pick up Batman. You just pick it up. And
do I have a rant about Spider-Man later?
But with these other books, oftentimes no one gives them a try until you hear some buzz about them. You hear someone talking about them. And even sometimes they don't get buzz, but specific people out here say, hey, this book's actually really good. You should check it out. And I heard someone say, I forget who it was, but they were like, this Poison Ivy book has no business being as good as it is. And it was already like 8 issues in. And so I was just like, because they were describing it, and they were like, it was only supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries. And then people liked it so much that they extended it to 12, a maxi series. And then they just made it an ongoing because people were loving it so much. And then I was like, oh, let me check this out. And I started reading it, and I was like, I usually don't like villain. And then the last thing is, I usually don't like villain books. I don't think villain books generally are good. But this
Watch your
one,
mouth.
just what it is. But this one was interesting. And as a political person, it's very fascinating because it's a clear allegory on the far left. It's essentially Poison Ivy's character is essentially a leftist. She's super into climate change. She's excuse me. She's essentially a Peter nut job, right? It's like she's so hard into protecting the planet and plants that she's like, well, fuck the people then. I'm like, I'll just kill. I don't care about the people. I gotta save this tree for these people, right? Like she's so hardcore in her beliefs that like anything less than perfect is horrible and the devil. And then, but this book shows the consequences of that thought process, and then how someone can still be very principled and be very progressive, but add some reality and stuff to that thought process, and then what you can accomplish when you do that. And that's what Poison Ivy is essentially about.
Yeah, it's e-viewing right in that, right?
I think it's e-viewing. Actually, I got it right here. Let me see. Who's writing Poison Ivy? No. It's I think it's G. Willow Wilson.
Yes. It's exactly what it is. G. Willow Wilson. Thank you. It is, yeah. The creator of one of the co-creators of Miss Marvel, which was almost my mini-series of the year, mind you. Javi, what was your most surprising comic book of the year?
So most surprising comic book of the year is, I don't know if anybody's reading this, right? I don't even know why I started reading this, to be honest with you. I love Silver Surfer, but Silver Surfer Rebirth has been really fun, bro. But it's a bit obscure, even though it's a Silver Surfer book. You could look. I think most people look at the artwork and I'm like, I'm not reading this. This is some like one-off crap, but it has a really crazy story. It involves time travel. It involves Thanos. It involves,
Oh, that's
this.
why you reading it, because Thanos is involved in this.
No, but it's great, bro. It's a really it reminds me of classic Silver Surfer, like back in the day when it was just really like just like what's his name, Jack Kirby. Like it reminds me of like that era of Silver Surfer, but they're mixing it in with the modern versions of him. So the actual main character of Silver Surfer is coming from that like the 90s. I'm gonna say 90s era of Silver Surfer, and due to I don't want to spoil it, but due to circumstances beyond his control, he gets pulled through time, and he's interacting with different moments from pretty popular and interesting books. And it's a really fun ride, bro. Like I would suggest it. It's very surprising. I wasn't gonna read it at first. The reason why I put it as my surprising book of the year, because I really wasn't gonna read it. Like I saw it, I'm like, I'm not reading that. And then I was bored one day, and I was like, I want to read some Silver Surfer that I haven't read before. Picked it up, and it was super enjoyable.
So mine was the Fantastic Four. I'm not a big Fantastic Four guy. I've liked some of the runs, but I've also been very much like, I'm not sure if I can deal with monthly issues of Reed Richards science talk, right? But this was also around the time where I started rereading the Fantastic Four and the New Avengers and the Avengers, the Hickman stuff. Just leave it at that. The Hickman stuff from from 2010 to 2015, I think it is. And
Fire.
so, huh?
It's fire.
Yep. So that led me to not Jerry Duggan, what is his name? Who wrote the Fantastic Four? He also wrote Superior Spider-Man. What is his name? Harvey, your guy, wrote Superior
Nick
Spider-Man.
Spencer.
No.
Dang it. You and the thing is, you got a mention from him on Twitter too.
It's not Jerry Duggan. See, that's gonna bug me. Superior. Oh, Dan Slott. I know that.
Yeah, there you
Slott.
go. Yeah.
So I think it was Dan Slott who was writing the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
it was Dan Slott. I was reading it then. Then they rebooted it.
Yeah, so then I was like, all right, well, I want to know what's going on because I really enjoy reading the stuff about like Ben's new kids, and I was curious, like, oh, what are they gonna do now with this? So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And Ryan North has created the most fun Fantastic Four comic book ever written. It's Reed doing things with his powers that are just silly but fun. Like he was fighting the female Dr. Octopus, and he put his hand behind his back and used his fingers as tentacles, and I was like, this is hilarious.
That was actually interesting. What's funny, old man? I'm probably more of a fan of Fantastic Four than you are, which is probably why this is your surprising book of the year. But I'm not really enjoying this version. Not to say it's not bad, right? But it's the Fantastic Four. Like, it's not the Fantastic Four that drew me in. So this Fantastic Four is focusing on family. It reminds me a lot of like the six, like, and it's a good book. It's a really good book. But for me, like, I like when the Fantastic Four are like out there, like out right now. They're chilling in New York, right? Like,
in New York anymore. They're in Arizona.
Oh well, yeah, they have to move because people hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really family oriented. It's really connected. It's more real. It's less cosmic and more fantastic. And I can see why
I'm
people.
a huge Fantastic Four guy. I went back, and when I first got back, I read comic books when I was a kid, and I stopped for a long time. And then when I got back into comic books, I got Marvel Unlimited, and I went back and I said, I want to read Fantastic Four from the beginning, and I want to read X-Men from the beginning. And I went back from the 60s and I started reading that. And I love the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hickman's Fantastic Four is just like my coup de grace. And in this story, is this the one where like Ben and Alicia were in that town that had all the Doom bots and stuff?
Mm-hmm. So that was reading too. Ben and Alicia kept having the time travel thing. There, like the day kept going back to like.
Oh yeah, the day kept going back over and over again. Yeah, and then Ben and then Reed and Sue were in the town with the Doom bots, and I was reading it, and then I just kind of like fell off. I don't know why. I think Dan Slott stopped writing it. Didn't they switch writers?
Yeah. So the one you're talking about is the one I'm talking about. That was Ryan North who's writing it now.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's how you hit the nail on the head on exactly why I like it. It's more family oriented, and I like the Fantastic Four stories when they're specifically like doing stuff. It's something about superheroes doing normal things, and like just seeing them like in the most recent issue, Valeria and what the hell is their son's name?
Franklin.
Franklin got F's in science.
This is the most recent issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is absolutely great, and I love it because it's fun, but they still have like this. There's still the science aspect of it. It still makes me very happy that you know what it is. And I think I said this when we were talking about the Ninja Turtles. I really appreciate when a writer understands the assignment. And they did. He was like, we want to see some goofiness. We want to see some this, but we also got to make sure that the Fantastic Four are still scientists. And one of the things that they did was make it a point to remind people that Susan Storm is an actual scientist. So I thought that was dope. I will say this, though. Dr. Doom as a T-Rex was something I never knew I needed.
Yo, that man, you told me to read that issue, and I just can't. Like, don't do that to Dr. Doom. But that's my own bias. That's my own bias.
It's so stupid, but I love the second of it. Did we all go with our unexpected picks? No, Brandon, you didn't give yours. Actually, I think I was the only one to give mine. Brandon, what was yours?
No, I did my surprise. It was Poison Ivy.
Oh yeah. Javi, what was yours? Sorry.
I did my surprising too. Oh no, I didn't do my surprising. Sorry. Um, did we? Oh, we skipped it. We went a different order because I think we just did underrated, right?
No, we just did no. Last one we just did was just team books. Now we're doing most surprising. Oh yeah, you said Silver Surfer. Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. So
Okay, that just confused the hell out of because I'm following the list and I'm like, wait a minute.
yeah, so next up is most disappointing. Hobby. What was your most disappointing?
Dark Web.
That shit was awful.
It was just a really bad comic, bro. Like I don't even know what the only thing I read because I was reading Venom. I read Venom. I'm keeping up with that story. As convoluted and crazy as it's been getting. That's really the only tie-in that I enjoyed, and only because it continued the story that I was paying attention to. Like I didn't care at all for that story. I don't even. What were the consequences? Were there any?
No.
Yeah. So yeah.
One thing that happened out of that was Madeline Pryor is now like a hero, I guess, and that was that.
Yes.
So this essentially just seemed like a way for Madeline Pryor to become an X-Man and have like some stake in what was going on with Marcus. That's all. Because there was nothing came out of it. It was bad. It was honestly bad. It was just.
And not to interrupt, sorry, oh man, did we do most surprising comic?
Did we?
No, we did most surprising. We didn't do underrated.
All right. So we'll finish this one, then we'll go to underrated because
Yeah.
that's after this one is underrated. Or maybe I might put it.
Is it my turn for most disappointing?
No, I'm gonna go most disappointed just because it's
Okay.
really short and simple. DC Night Terrors was absolutely underwhelming, but the funny thing was the side books were really good. The Green Lantern Night Terror book was hilarious. Watching someone who's supposed to be scared, who's supposed to be scaring Hal Jordan, running from Hal Jordan, was great. But the rest of that was booty meat. Brandon, go ahead.
I hate to say it because my favorite writer of all time is writing it, but it's Marvel's Gods for me. I might trip it to try once it's done to just read it all at once as like a trade, but it was just so many fucking words. It was so many words, and I'm just like, I don't, and there's so many words about characters that I don't know, so I don't have no inclination to care about them because I don't know any of them, and so I want Hickman to build the world and tell me about these characters, but you could have done it without like an entire page of words, like I'm reading the actual book. And I read my comic books at night, and so I'm sitting at bed at like 10 o'clock at night, 10:30, and I open up Marvel Gods, and that first issue is 68 pages with a ton of words. I'm just like, oh my God. So I make it through the first issue, and I'm like, okay, maybe the first issue was 60 some pages and all these words because he's introducing these big cosmic like thoughts. And now that he's got that out of his system, we're gonna be good. And then I get issue 2, and the second page, the first panel, the thought bubble is like this big. It's like 4 or 5 paragraphs in one thought bubble, in one bubble. And I was like, I can't do this. I cannot. I don't even know if it's good. I just know I was bored and I couldn't keep my eyes open because there was so many words. And so I'm going to give it a shot once it's in full trade paperback. But man, that disappointed me.
I forced myself through it because Brandon, we talked about this before. I think we had the same opinion. Like like I agree with you. Like it was a lot, and it's a comic. It doesn't come out. It comes out pretty infrequently. So they have to fill in a lot of stuff. I don't know why they feel they need to do that, but it's a lot of exposition for like you said, characters that we're just meeting now. We've seen them a couple times in some other comics before this series, but we didn't know who they were, and they still didn't explain really who they were. Maybe they did, but it was lost in those words. But I will say this: the last issue really changed my mind on it, and it made me more optimistic. So I would definitely. I don't want to spoil. I'm not going to spoil anything, other than when I did for my what I'm looking for. I apologize, but
Don't apologize.
yeah, check it out, man. I think the last issue that came out may be worth it.
I just want to say that you guys had no idea how pumped I was after I read Gods because Javi had been pumping it up, and I said to Javi, I'm like, yo, I give a shit about characters I don't know about. I'm not reading it.
Yeah.
And you should read it. You should read it. I'm like, all right, fine. So I read it, and I'm like, I really like this, and I'm all amped up, getting ready to talk to you guys about it. And you were like, and all of y'all were like, I didn't really like it. I'm like, oh, come on.
And it wasn't just me that Marvel's been pumping this whole series up for like the better part of a year, bro. Like this was like
Hellfire Gala.
Yo, for real, bro. You see these?
And it got me hyped.
Yeah, I was super, and I like that first issue again. It was the first issue, so I didn't expect much. So I'm like, all right, I can see what they're building here. Like it's whatever. But then that second issue came. I'm like, all right, it felt like a continuation from the first issue, right? Certain things happened. When we find out who that main villain was in the beginning. Again, I don't want to spoil it. But it's pretty cool. The type of power scaling and stuff that we can see and the potential for this book is amazing. The potential for changing the cosmic fabric of Marvel is pretty dope. And other books are dealing with things like it's in particular Mortal Thor, the Dominion stuff and Fall of X. I feel like that can play a part in this whole gods thing. If they decide to do that, which I hope they do. So I think there's a lot of potential in it. And again, that last issue is pretty dope.
I'm going to say it again. I just thought it was funny. I'm reading this. And I'm like, let me find out they just recreated Tony Stark and gave him magic. That's all he is.
The crazy thing is old man liking a Hickman book that I don't like.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
It's so funny.
And Hickman, bro, his world building is crazy. He writes a lot, bro. He writes a lot.
I mean, this is in 2024, but I'll just say this as an aside. And then Hickman wrote Ultimate Spider-Man, and I was doing backflips.
It's to quote you from the text message. It really is the best comic. I think I don't know which one of us said it, but like it was the best Spider-Man comic I read in years. And not to say that I haven't read a lot of good Spider-Man comic books, but that was easily the best.
Excellent.
No, I think you read more Spider-Man than any of us, old man. So you saying that?
Yeah,
I'm certain I do. Javi, what was your most disappointing?
Oh, I already did my most disappointing comic. Dark Web.
Sorry, Brandon.
I did too. Marvel guys, we're on underrated. You did yours too.
Oh, underrated. Oh, so let me go first with underrated. I am going She-Hulk.
Huh.
Really? She-Hulk by Rainbow Roll is it feels so much like, imagine if Sex in the City was good.
Sex in the City was good.
Dude, I've been trying like Valkyrie will watch it.
Forced time, I should say. Forced time.
It's good forced time. But like, okay, so let me put it like this. It's Sex in the City with punches. Like it's really good. Rainbow Roll is the woman writing it, and she has just completely turned this into like just something about love and like Jennifer.
So is it comedic?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely comedic. I highly recommend this book, and she ended her first run, and now she's doing the Sensational She-Hulk, which is it's following the same story. Like it literally, like her She-Hulk run ended, and then Sensational She-Hulk started, but she's still writing. It picks up exactly at the moment where the other one ended. They brought back Jack of Hearts, and he's not boring anymore. So it's totally worth it. Totally worth it. Brandon, what's yours?
Nightwing.
So good.
I don't think a lot of people read Nightwing, but Tom Taylor's writing it, who wrote Injustice, among other things. He's writing Titans, that old man referenced earlier, that he's really liked. Tom Taylor's an excellent writer. He did a Suicide Squad miniseries that was excellent.
Oh my God, that Suicide Squad series was so good. New characters.
And he's writing Nightwing, and Nightwing's my favorite. For those of you listening for a while, is my favorite comic book character of all time, and it's very good. But what makes it so underrated is not Tom Taylor. and I should have got the person's name, but it's the artists on these books because they have taken some chances that you don't often see people take in books in terms of art, where they did like one continuous panel throughout the whole book. Like they've done like really cool artistic. They did a view from a first person view
Michael
of the
Conrad.
comic book, huh?
Michael Conrad.
Michael Conrad, yeah, they did a first person book.
Got a bunch of different artists.
Yeah, they did a book from the first person view of everything, which was like the whole book was from first person. Like they've taken some real chances in terms of what they've done with this, and it's telling this great story basically of Nightwing got this money, and instead of being Batman, where he's like, I gotta save the world as Batman, even though I'm a rich billionaire who could save the world in so many other ways as a rich white man. Instead, I want to put on a costume and go beat up people.
Redondo. Bruno Redondo has done some of them, but he hasn't done the recent one. But Bruno Redondo he put his foot into this art, man. Like
the art is unbelievable. And I'm not an art guy, but the art in this was unbelievable. But essentially it's like Nightwing now has this money and he's like, I mean, I'm gonna still be Nightwing for some stuff, but I can make a bigger impact on Bloodhaven as a rich white man, giving my money to help people. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's an excellent story.
Well, one of the things
the contrast between him and Bruce.
Yes. And one of the things I love about it is it's not just him. He's inspired the people around him. Like I think the Alfred part was destroyed. And he was like, ready to go in. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like people were already there cleaning up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was so cool. Nightwing even got some of the villains to leave their bosses. My favorite moment of last year from Nightwing was when he decided that he was going to turn the Bloodhaven jail into the tower, and was like, we have people in jail who haven't even been convicted of crimes, and people will probably say, oh, well, it's fake, it's a fake story, it's a fake this, but these are things that actually happen. And I love that Tom Taylor is one of those writers who makes it a point to show things that are actually going on in the real world. And so he's really been putting his foot into a lot of things. And I've seen a lot of the idiots who are going, oh well, he's so woke and so this. I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? Tom Taylor won more awards for his writing this year too. So suck it.
More proof that Batman's a horrible superhero.
And Tom Taylor's the same guy those same people dick lit for Injustice so much that they made Zack Snyder's whole movie universe based on some facsimile of that world without establishing. Don't get me started on that. But by the way, I hope Injustice comes back, and I love Injustice, but like Injustice is great because it's different. Like all these characters, and then you see them in the Injustice world, and you like go, oh. Like, this is not the Superman. This is not the Superman I grew up with. This is not like the decisions that Wonder Woman would make that I know about. And then Zack Snyder takes that universe, does not tell us about Superman or Batman or people we want to know about, and then just thinks he's going to give us Injustice. And this is like super dark and dreary and whatever. So Tom Taylor wrote that and y'all loved it, but now he's writing Nightwing with the same type of messaging, just in a different format in his woke.
But you know what else was great about Injustice? They gave you an explanation to why that. It wasn't just the stuff that happened.
Exactly.
It was like Wonder Woman's influence was that. And you're like, why is Wonder Woman evil? Then you find out that the first person she meets and the first person she falls in love with is fucking a Nazi. So like it makes sense. Like so like yeah, we could have a whole conversation about the stupidness of it. Underrated, Javi. What do you got?
So I switched these by accident. So my most surprising comic, I said that was Silver Surfer. That was actually supposed to be my underrated comic. So I'll do my most surprising because I think technically could mean the same thing. Whatever. Incredible Hulk. This new Incredible Hulk series has been fantastic. I didn't think like we saw horror aspects. We saw the Hulk move back to his original horror aspects, and the Mortal Hulk which changed to Spaceship Hulk, and now we're back to horror aspects, and they turned the dial up to 11. Like this joint is crazy. If you were paying attention to Hulk at all during the Spaceship Hulk series, you understood that Bruce Banner tortured the Hulk by turning him into just pretty much a vehicle for his inner persona. And he's getting that back in turn. The Hulk has decided that, listen, and I didn't even know this was possible. The Hulk was like, listen, I used to make it so the transformations didn't hurt you, but now I'm just gonna rip out of your body. You're gonna feel it every time. And also, while I'm the Hulk, I'm gonna be torturing you the whole time. So like it's crazy. It's a very, very dark book. But it really fits. It fits the Hulk so well. I don't know if we'll ever see this type of story, in the MCU, but maybe we will see with some. We'll see in some of those MCU spotlight movies. We might see a darker version of the Hulk. I don't know if that would work with Mark Ruffalo, but whatever. This book is awesome. Read it.
I want an animated. I just want some animated Hulk, man. I just want some like the Hulk versus cartoons were pretty good. Like
Yeah.
like we finally got to see Wolverine cut loose, pun intended. And like really use his claws on something more than just like robots and doors.
Mm-hmm.
He got into Hulk was actually in a issue of Wolverine, and I didn't realize like just how ruthless he had become. And I was like, yeah, yeah. And you had been telling me again. You kept saying, yo, Mark, you're really gonna well, you say old man, which is weird.
Yeah.
You've known me longer as Mark, but you call me old man. Like, yo, old man, I think you're really gonna like this Hulk series, and I never got into it. But
no, this new one, it's good, man. It's really good.
it also helps that I'm doing a reread of Immortal Hulk, which gotten so much, which continues to be one of the best comic book series ever. But again,
I think if you're new and you want to get into the Hulk, if you want to get into this series, I would suggest doing what you're doing. Read Immortal Hulk, read Spaceship Hulk, then go to this, because those stories, they're different, but they're interconnected. Like there's no like the consequences carry over from series to series in a really intuitive way.
And you're finding out that Bruce Banner actually is the real monster here.
Bro, right? He's the victim now, though, I'll tell you that.
What goes around, goes around, goes around, all the way back around. Best new book, Hobby.
Best new book, and I honestly, if we had like a book of the year for the Old Man Wade Show, Ball Black Nerds, I think it would be this one. I think you guys would agree. But I give the shout out to Brandon for introducing both of us to this. But Void Rivals, like, it's such a good book. Hold on a second. Kirkman is writing it. And as you know, Invincible is one of like our all-time favorite books of all time. His ability to create worlds is awesome, and the fact that he's creating a world within an existing IP, the Energon universe, I think that's what they're calling it. We're seeing, and I don't know if I explained this to you guys, but like I'm an old school Transformers nerd. Like the movies, like the original movie, where Optimus Prime dies, a lot of and it kind of builds a universe around the Transformers that we didn't see before. And seeing some of these characters show up in these books, and it makes sense. Not to mention the story that the book's actually about, the Void Rivals, like the allegory towards like racism and political dysfunction. And I sometimes I'm afraid of these books because I feel like people like look at these books and they connect it too much to the real world. I'm not a big believer in Illuminati and all this other stuff, but within this ecosystem, within the story of Void Rivals, it works. It's a beautiful story, beautiful art. The two main characters are great. They're totally different but the same, right? It makes sense if you read the book. And I can't wait to see, like, I could see this as becoming the next Invincible as far as world building and storytelling, and the story continuing over time in a way that makes sense. It's exciting.
I truly believe that when we do this next year, I think that we're going to be talking about how like the Energon universe completely came over and like crushed the building. To be honest,
Yeah, it's crazy.
I also want to point out the artwork. Lorenzo De Felici is the artist, and Mateus Lopez, who does the coloring. The coloring of this is so damn good because it's kind of
great.
Yeah, it's like kind of robotic. It's kind of like poverish. Is that the right word I'm using? In this, and like even watching them have like these facial expressions in their masks was kind of cool too. So definitely, man, like that was Void Rivals was something is something else, man. It's become my must read. It's funny because whenever I buy my comic books, if it's not there, I check it 2 or 3 more times to make sure I didn't miss it.
Such a good book, bro.
It really is, man. It totally is.
Mm.
What do you got, Brandon?
My new book is Penguin, from DC. Like I said, I don't particularly like villain books, but I gave Poison Ivy a try, and I was like, okay, I'll give Penguin a try. And this book is unbelievable. It is essentially Penguin is just a dude living in Metropolis. He left Gotham City. He's got a wife or a girlfriend that he really loves, and he's in Metropolis, and he's just chilling. He goes to his tailor, gets his suits done, comes back home, helps his wife plants, do stuff. He's out the game. Penguin is out the game, just being an old man. And then
Time you get out.
And then the most ruthless person in the DC universe, Amanda Waller, comes back and is basically blackmails him, or is basically like, look, we still know all the crimes you did. I know you think you can just live your rest of your old man life with your wife. We're gonna make life for her hell, and put you in jail, make you hell if you don't do what we want you to do. And what we want you to do is to take down Batman. And so we're going to give you carte blanche to take your ass back to Gotham and regain your empire by any means necessary in order to get the Bat. And so the Penguin proceeds to take his ass back to Gotham and take back his empire by force. And it's excellent.
Nice. Amanda Waller is going to be villain of the year, but she fucked up by I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to spoil it because it just came out last couple weeks ago. But needless to say, she fucked up in Beast World. For me, a name we've said a couple times on here, but I'm going with Wonder Woman by Tom King. It's been perfect. That's really all I'm gonna say. I don't really need to say anything else other than that. Nope, I'm gonna say a couple things. One, it's perfect. Yes, it's an absolutely perfect comic book. It's everything about it, from the artwork to the writing, has been great. The one thing I've been enjoying more than anything else about this is the tears of the fragile male ego. Every day whenever I go on YouTube to go look up videos and stuff like this, I see people upset about this book, and I just like lick the tears up because they're so delicious. Because one guy goes like, "Oh, we get it. Men are bad. That's the point of this Wonder Woman book." I'm like, you clearly didn't read the book, because it's not about men being bad. And if that's what you took out of it, maybe you should take a look at yourself. And we talked about this on a previous podcast. It has nothing to do with men. It's about bad people. Yes, they're focusing on men who, fun fact for you, go through history, kind of shitty. So, you know what I mean? Particularly white men. And sorry, but you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not offended by it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a guy. You know what I mean? So, get over it. Not that serious.
Also, it's a comic book.
Yeah.
When people get so like worked up over stuff like that, I'm like, one, you sound disgusting, and two, it's a comic book.
Fictional characters, bro.
Yeah. Get over yourself.
Oh, please tell me, is it my time yet? Is it my time yet? No. So best comic movie. Me and Brandon have the same one. So Brandon, I'm gonna let you take this.
Spider-Verse 2. I mean, I don't even think it was close in 2023. I thought that movie was a perfect film. Not just comic book film, just a perfect film, from the pacing, from the character development to the stories, to the intrigue, to the cliffhanger. Just from start to finish, it was a perfect film. And I'm happy that the writer strike happened because they needed to get what they needed to get. But I'm upset that it's going to delay this movie a little bit, where it's not so fresh in people's mind about what happened, because it was supposed to be like a back-to-back year 2-part finale type thing. But I just thought that was a perfect film. And it really pisses me off because there are people at Sony who clearly and obviously know how to make a superhero movie. Like, clearly and obviously, on their own, without Marvel Studios, know how to make a good superhero movie. And then I still have to go to the theater and watch Venom and Mobius and fucking Madam Web.
Yo, don't
and
put do
all this
not put
bullshit.
Venom. Do not put Venom in that list.
Venom is a terrible movie.
Venom is fun.
It's a fun movie. I didn't say Venom wasn't fun. Venom is a fun movie. It's not a good movie. It's not good. It's fun. I can enjoy Venom. I always tell old man this all the time. There's movies that aren't good that are still fun. That
but
you go there and you have
can
a
you
good
say
time.
the same? Can you say the same thing about Morbius?
There was nothing good about
No,
Hey,
Morbius
so
is
that's all I'm
not
saying.
fun, nor good. But these are not good movies. Spider-Verse is a fantastic movie. It's not just fun, it's a great film.
Yeah.
From the film nerd in me, from just a film construction point, it's a great film. I watched both Venom movies, and I'm like, these are the same people that made Spider. These cannot be the same people that made. These cannot be the same people. It's the same thing I said, and Old Man will attest to this, about Doom Patrol and Titans. There's no way the same person made Doom Patrol as overseeing Titans. You cannot tell me that's the same person in charge.
So I'll say this: the only reason why I try to give Venom some credit is because it's clear, especially the second Venom movie, the issues with the second Venom movie was clearly studio like involvement. Like, if Venom was allowed to be in the actual MCU, I think
Well,
it would
yeah,
have
if the
been much.
MCU did it, yes.
No, but I can't. But I can't say that about Morbius. Like, I think Morbius.
But no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse is not. I mean, it's tangentially, but it's not really involved in the MCU.
Yeah.
It's still their own movie on their own without Kevin Feige involved running it, and it's a great movie.
Yeah.
And then, like, what's the other one that's coming out?
Madam Web.
Craven. Did that come out?
Is that coming out? Is that a thing? Is that really gonna happen?
Yeah, they just had a trailer for it. It might have already come out. We missed it.
Trust me, it got delayed. It was supposed to come out in October, but it got delayed.
Probably reshoots. Knowing Sony,
it's
it's definitely reshoots, bro.
Yeah, it got delayed till August. So it's coming out in August. There's a 0% chance this Craven movie is good. 0. Not 1, not 0.5, 0. 0%.
I'm actually I'm gonna say optimistic for a Sony movie. So like that would be kind of like super low expectations for anything else other than like DC movies, right? And I would say
You're a much
I have
better man than me.
only because I don't know why. I don't know why. But Craven is definitely not something like I agree with you. There's no way in hell Craven's gonna be a good movie.
Brandon, can I just tell you, anytime you go on a rant about Sony, it is my favorite part of any show.
Yeah, facts.
It's so frustrating. You know who my favorite Spider character is? Silk. Sydney Moon. I love Silk.
Well, definitely don't watch Madam Web then, because I'm terrified.
Why are they putting her in that shitty fucking movie?
Not in that.
She is.
She's in there.
She's one of the spider people.
Who's that?
I swear she is. Hold on a second.
It's
Carpenter. It's Carpenter.
Aranya.
Okay, you're right.
Trust me, they
we're not going to see Cindy Moon in anything until the next Spider-Man game.
Well, it's you mean I'm pretty sure it's not going to be very comic book accurate, but I mean, given the villain, it's possible she might be in it. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh fuck! Thank you for reminding. God damn it.
Oh yeah, old man tells me to read this run. Let me finish my rant, and then I'll move on. Old man tells me to read this Spider-Man run, which we still haven't reviewed on the show yet, which we'll get to in our book clubs. And so I'm reading it, and it's great. And that's where Ezekiel Sims first comes up, which I didn't know that because I only knew Ezekiel from the Spider-Verse. I didn't know he showed up before then. So I didn't know that. And so
that's technically it's connected to the Spider-Verse. I mean, he's kind of like prepping. I think he's prepping them.
Yeah, but that was way before the actual book came out. That was a few years before the book came out, I believe. Right? Like that book this old man I just read was like the early 2000s.
Well, the first Spider-Verse book is pretty old.
Yeah, but the first Spider book was 2000. It was right after Superior Spider-Man, so that was what 2008
or 6 or something like that. I don't even know. It was early 2000s. Had to be.
Peter Parker was back in his regular suit. So I would say like 2016 was when the first Spider-Verse came out because Dan Slott was
that's what I thought. Yeah, it was in the 2010s. This book we were reading were in the early 2000s. It was well before the first Spider book.
Before Civil War and right before Ready to Disassemble.
Because they had the 9/11 episode. I mean, they had the 9/11 issue in there. So this was early 2000s. Spider-Verse didn't come out till early 2010s. And so then they see this. Then I see Ezekiel Sims and Madam Web, and that is not Ezekiel Sims.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
That is not Ezekiel Sims.
Not at all.
What do you mean? He's a white dude with Spider-Man powers.
I don't care about changing characters. I tell y'all this all the time, but it has to be when you write these IPs exist for a reason. And so when you're using
an old rich white man,
when you're using the IP, you can change the character a little bit. You can improve on the character. You can take core values from the character and then put it into modern times. Like you can do all types of things. But when I look at a character and you tell me this is someone, and I go, how the fuck is this person? What is like? First of all, okay.
Hold on,
the last thing I'll say is to that point. Anyone who watched a Spider-Man cartoon and then read a Spider-Man book that ever had Madam Web in it, and then you tell me this is a Madam Web movie, and I see 3 22-year-old white women, and one of them is supposed to be Madam Web. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I'm not gonna knock it for that. I'm not gonna knock it for that. I can't knock it.
Javi, you are being a nice guy. This
Only because
people want to make Aunt May a CIA agent, fucking people up like Alfred Pennyworth.
I just finished watching an Echo movie where they changed her powers to like I don't know. She can. I don't even know what her powers are. Like would it like?
Yeah,
how does that relate?
The core of that character didn't change.
Oh man,
they didn't make Echo. They didn't make Echo 55 years old that can hear.
You know what? I just realized I'm defending a Sony Marvel movie. That's
what I'm saying. What are you doing?
Let me not shoot myself in the foot, bro.
If it's good, I'll be glad to say I'm wrong. I'm
gonna buy a ticket. I'm gonna buy a ticket because I'm an idiot. I'm gonna watch it in the movie theater because I always do.
You're almost as bad as Old Man. I told Old Man not to go. I said, Old Man, do not watch New Mutants. Do not watch New Mutants. Don't watch New Mutants. Don't even waste your time. Don't expose your eyes to that film.
But how are we gonna talk about it? How are we gonna talk about it?
He did not listen to me, and he watched New Mutants.
New Mutants wasn't bad.
New Mutants were bad though.
It wasn't. Yeah, listen. If it wasn't an X-Men movie, if it was something else,
we're not acting like this is Constantine. No, that movie was bad. Like,
Constantine's a great example. Constantine is a great example why it's not about. That's why I say it's not about them changing the root of the character or whatever. Right? Just tell a good story. Sony doesn't tell. Sony tells the movies are just bad. Like they're badly written, badly shot, badly paced.
Enough topic. We gotta.
I'm sorry. Listeners, I'm sorry I took us off topic. That just gets me worked up. It gets me worked up.
It's made me so happy. Javi, what's your comic book movie of the year?
So
I'm sorry, but Brandon, God damn it, man.
Across the Spider-Verse was a good movie, right? Like it was a great movie. Like that's probably the best objectively comic book movie that came out this year. Like you can't argue that. But I'm going by like expectations. Like Blue Beetle had no reason to be as good as it was.
It really did.
That's true.
Blue Beetle was fucking. I said this on the show. I wrote this in an article. But Blue Beetle was essentially DC's Miss Marvel. I mean, the Marvels. Same shit.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it was also like the best movie they've made in like.
Yes.
That might be the best movie they made. And it did it hit? Did it go in the theater? It went straight to streaming, right?
It was so good that James Gunn said, "This is part of my universe."
Yeah. It was like, so that movie went straight to streaming.
No, it was in the theater. I saw it in
the theater. Okay. I didn't even, and that's how much, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't expecting anything from DC at all. Like, I'm not even like I'm not buying tickets to DC movies.
Right? I knew Blue Beetle was
hold
good.
on. You wouldn't buy money but you're gonna buy a ticket to go see Madam Web.
Madam Web.
Yeah, I am. I am because you know what? Because you know what? Yo, Shazam! Fury of the Gods hurt me.
No, that was
physically.
Brandon, did you watch that movie?
Of course not.
No,
I knew it wasn't going to be good.
Yo, you know me. I will watch a movie and finish it.
Yeah.
I got 15 minutes into that movie. Cut it the fuck off. I was like, I'm not watching.
All right. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get because I have that on my whatever, right? Like, I'm sorry, but I'll say this: when Marvel movies are bad, right? Like Morbius was so bad that it created like a whole meme industry of like people went to go see Morbius because it was like it's one of those like movies that I want to watch a bad movie today. Let me go watch Morbius. Nobody's saying that about anything that DC has put out. Like they don't even have that redeeming quality.
It's a cinephobe movie. So it's a podcast, not to promote other podcasts, but it's a podcast I really like. It's called Cinephobe, with Amin Al-Hassan. He used to be on ESPN, but he left. And this is a side project. And him and a couple other people, what they do is they review movies that have 30% or less on Rotten Tomatoes. That's the whole podcast. They've been doing it for years. So it's any movie that has 30% or less on Rotten Tomatoes. And then they try to tell you if it's bad, but fun, or just really terrible movie. Like it got like that type of thing, right? Which is a great concept, by the way, for a podcast. And so Mobius belongs on that show, not our show. Yeah. We don't review Mobius. They do.
But Morbius is like, I can laugh. I'll laugh and be like, oh, that's so ridiculous. He just Hadoukened a bunch of bats, right? But I can't do that with anything that DC came out with. So that's the difference there.
I love Lucy Liu. I love me some Lucy Liu, man. And I love Lucy Liu. I'm trying to get
Helen Mirren. What did Helen Mirren? Sorry, I think we're skipping. Okay, let me just finish the Blue Beetle stuff. Right? Blue Beetle was fun. It was entertaining. Like it made me excited, even though James Gunn wasn't involved with that movie. But if that's something that he saw, I was like, I'm adding this to my universe. It makes me go like, all right, whenever he comes out with his movies, I will buy a ticket and I'll see it the first week. And that's what Blue Beetle did. Blue Beetle somehow revived my interest in the future of DC movies. I'm not going to say DCEU because the DCEU is freaking dead.
That was by far the most roundabout way to go about that. Javi, best comic book show, excuse me.
Oh, I mean, I hope this one runs a gamut, bro, but Gen V.
Yeah, that's what I had too.
Everybody,
I had Gen V too.
I don't know why I thought you picked My Adventures with Superman.
No, that's up there.
Yeah, it's great.
Gen V.
It's great. Invincible is great. My Adventures with Superman are great, but Gen V is just
Honestly, and this may be a little bold of me. I thought Gen V was the best comic book project of the year. The only the only story better than Gen V was probably Spider-Man on PlayStation.
Oh wow.
Like
Yeah.
I have nothing negative to say about it, especially considering the way they connected things to the boys. Yeah, perfection. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
It's nothing bad I could say. Like I want to pull out some negative out of it, but it was just like it was flawless. It was flawless. Like them playing like it's the boys plays with tropes, right? It plays with what we expect and kind of turns it on its head. Like it's a movie about like, college kids and
Gen V is what
popularity.
New Mutants should have been.
Yep. We've said that on the show a bunch.
Yeah, it's what
Yeah.
it should have been.
Yeah. A little less,
Yeah, a little less
penis
salacious,
little
but
penis
yeah.
blow uppy, but yeah.
It's a little less, penis blow up. And I got a thing for Emma, so
Yeah.
Worst comic book movie, Shazam 2 for me.
Mm-hmm. Shazam. We talked, and the thing it was so bad that it we talked about it already.
So,
I did my best last year that movies that I knew were going to be terrible, I was not going to go see. In the past, I went and saw everything. And I used to have to review movies for real. So I just had to go see everything. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm not a critic anymore. So
My
I was
question,
not going
my
to the
question for
movies to
you,
watch that.
my question for you, what made you? Because the first Shazam was actually a bright spot.
Yeah, it was one of my
surprising bright spot.
favorite DC movies.
And like what made you think Shazam 2 would have been bad? Like it had like great
Easy. I watched
actors.
that trailer and I said, this looks terrible. I said, this looks terrible. And then everything around DC at the time was terrible. And then I said, there's no way this movie's good. There's a 0% chance this movie's good. And so I did not go see it. And then same thing with Aquaman 2. I said, there's a 0% chance it's a good movie. There's not a chance in hell this is a good movie. I'm not going to see it. And then I look up the reviews, and even people that like DC movies were like, this was a bad movie. And if you get DC Zack Snyder snobs to say this is a bad movie, it's really bad movie. It's a really bad movie. But I did, despite knowing it was not going to be good, I did actually see with my own two eyes the Flash movie. And that was not a good movie. Now, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it's the worst movie that I saw last year.
Oh, that's not
yeah. The Flash was a lot of like it was a lot of in baseball when you make an error, like what's that term? Brandon.
Error.
An error, yeah.
Nah, but it's like a self, like you do it yourself or whatever.
Yeah, it's called an error.
Yeah, whatever. Yes, whatever.
Yeah, you're
that.
right.
Yeah.
Were you thinking like basketball with the turnover?
Nah, I'm thinking about baseball, but
yeah, baseball is an error.
Unforced error.
That's
what I was thinking.
Oh,
so like it's like they didn't have to like it just you could see the decisions that they made and see how it took away from the quality of that movie. Like just the fact that they were like, all right, let's just throw every Superman in history in the scene because it's gonna look cool, right? Like it was just so forced and horrible. Like, what was the point of this movie even? Like,
oh my
the
God.
flat. Yeah.
But Brandon, you know what that movie was? I just thought about it. That movie was Russell Westbrook on the Lakers on a fast break, on a 2-on-3, 3-on-1 fast break, and he just lays it up and misses it anyway.
Although, because they ruined something that should be good, just like the Lakers did. Because Russell Westbrook on the Clippers is balling, but Russell Westbrook on the Lakers was garbage.
They literally could have took the Flashpoint animated series and just make that into a movie. Yeah. Like, and it would have been.
I mean, they had a very successful TV show that was good for most of the seasons, up until the last one or two. But for the majority of the run was very good, and they learned zero.
Nothing. The CW Flash on the CW, which is famous for low budgets, outpaced what should have been the best Flash movie ever in existence.
You know what-
Flashpoint in live action.
You know what else kind of bothers me about that Flash movie? And I like the Flash. I'll say it. I like the Flash movie. Let me rephrase.
Wait. What?
I like Sasha Calle. I like.
Okay, yeah, I thought Supergirl was good.
I like Michael Keaton. I enjoyed moments where Barry realized he's an annoying, insufferable prick and had to grow some. Was that a good movie? It was not a good movie. It was absolutely not a good movie. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy that movie. So I'm gonna say that. I did enjoy it.
It might be, I'll give you that. It might be one of those movies that you watch when you want to watch a bad movie.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
So yeah, so we got The Flash, we got Shazam 2. Dumbest moment of the year. I'm gonna go last. Javi, you go first.
It's another DCEU shit to bed moment. Them even releasing Aquaman 2.
Thank you.
They canceled so many movies that could have been good, but they released Aquaman 2. Yo, no Batwoman. Batgirl. Sorry, no Batgirl.
Oh my god.
But we got
it is, and then I see online and it's like, oh my god, such and such came back for Aquaman 2. I'm like, I don't want to see Ocean Master and Aquaman team up.
And why are we getting Black Manta twice? Like, why is he the villain? Why is he the villain twice? Like they couldn't. It's Aquaman. So does he lack so many villains that we need? Like Black Manta is like his.
It's Ocean Master and Black Manta. That's all anybody knows.
Bro,
Kraken
or somebody else, yo. Throw the Penguin in there. I don't care, bro. Like, throw any water-based villain, yo.
And on top of that, Javi, Jason Momoa is going to be in the new universe as Lobo,
which is great. He's not the problem.
Which is a great casting.
Yeah.
Why are you even reminding people he was Aquaman? Just let him go away.
Leave it go. Let
him go away.
Yeah.
And then he'll show up as Lobo in 2026 or 2027, and you'll be like, "Oh shit, this is fucking perfect."
Yeah.
If anyone had a brain, he should have been. He should have been Lobo from the beginning.
Yeah, but why would they put a cool character in the DCEU? Like, why would they do something good?
And let me just say this: Jason Momoa was flawless in Fast 10.
He's great. He's great. Like, he's great.
He's good.
He's not the problem with Aquaman.
Like you guys have said over and over again, casting has never been the problem with the DCU.
No, not at all.
Not casting.
No, not at all. It's just, I don't know. It's the studio. Like, they're just really bad at making movies, apparently, which is crazy.
They made Blue Beetle, so
yeah. Like, I don't know. They might have took some really good drugs or something. I don't know. Something.
Blue Beetle was supposed to be a straight to HBO Max movie, and apparently James Gunn saw the movie and said, "No, this is really good. We're going to invest a few more $1 million in the special effects to make it movie theater quality, and we're going to release this out in the theaters."
Yeah.
So Hold on, Javi. How did Blue Beetle have better CGI than the Flash?
And that's a crazy part about it. It did not have I guarantee you, didn't have anywhere near the budget. And we're seeing
Flash was over $200 million.
Yeah, and we're seeing like early 2000s Super Bowl commercial level CGI.
Oh god!
Like,
you know what? It kind of
crazy.
Looked like the NFL, like like when the NFL's on Fox and they do the little fake robot football players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that.
It did look like that. I saw someone on Twitter the other day put, "Man, I wish Marvel movies could go back to scenes like this when the movies were actually good." And it was a scene of like Quicksilver in
I remember
Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse. One of the worst superhero movies ever made. One of the worst superhero movies ever made.
I know I'm in the minority here, but X-Men Apocalypse was worse than Dark Phoenix.
I mean, I can't. They're like having more than one kid. Like, how do you decide which one's the worst?
You don't have kids, and that was the problem. We gotta move. I just realized what time it is, and I still gotta work tonight. Brandon, what's yours?
I didn't have one, but Javi's right. That's it. That's it by far.
So, all right. So the topic, just in case y'all forgot, was dumbest moment of the year.
Yes.
I'm going anger towards Zeb Wells.
Oh Lord, you gonna defend this?
Here's my thing. I get not liking something. I truly do. There's a lot of comic books out there that I have purchased and was mad about and was just like, you know what? I'm just never gonna buy it again. When you motherfuckers start sending death threats to people, Brandon, it was so bad that like I commented on how much I liked it, tagged Zeb Wells in it, and for the next week and a half, people were in my mentions calling me called me a biblical whore. I was called a fanboy. I was taking money from Marvel. And it was just this whole big thing about how Zeb Wells is the worst writer ever, da 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 da. On the website I write for, I still post pictures from the Zeb Wells Spider-Man, right? Because it's good. It's had some bad points in there, but overall, it's been good. And as we talked about on a previous episode, it is still one of the top selling comic books each month, not just from Marvel, not just from Marvel and DC, period. Every month, it's top 25, top 10, top 5 selling comic books every month. Every month. So here's the thing. There is no way in hell people are hate buying stuff that much. And if you are, you're fucking stupid. You're part of the problem. You don't like something, you don't do it. I didn't like Shazam. I cut it off 15 minutes in because it was fucking stupid. You know what I'm not gonna do again? I'm not gonna go watch the season finale of Dexter. Matter of fact, when I watch Dexter, you know what I do? I fast forward any part with Rita in it. Want to know why I do that? Because I don't like Rita, but I like Dexter. So I just stop doing things I don't like. You motherfuckers are dumb. You're selfish. And you're a word I'm trying not to say on shows, but you're a cunt. And so just, relax. You are the dumbest people of the year, specifically because you're children. And as people have been telling, and the people have been saying for the last year, it's one of my favorite quotes when it comes to this: go outside and touch grass.
That's a good take.
Like, it's just.
I thought you were going to tell me it's good.
What, Zeb Wells Spider-Man?
Yeah.
It is. It is good.
You are the first person I've heard say that.
Go read it. Just I tell everyone that, like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I completely understand people who don't.
I went through his list. I went to his list of books that he was written, and I honestly haven't really. I don't know if you can say I'm lucky or not, because I have not really read anything that he's written, but this reminds me of like the hate that Rob Liefeld gets, which is understandable, but at the same time, these people are doing something.
But Liefeld, the difference between that is I haven't heard anything from Zeb Wells that makes me believe he's an asshole. Rob Liefeld is an arrogant public asshole.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but that's the thing. I used to think that too. Like I started following.
I saw Rob Liefeld in person at when I was covering a comic convention. He was an asshole
because he's probably tired of people saying he's garbage, right? Like I'm not saying that's the reason, but I'm like look, the public
and he's into Comic Gate stuff. Like he's supporting the Comic Gate stuff.
Oh,
like,
that's different. That's different.
I was waiting for that. I was like,
that's different.
Yeah, Liefeld's an asshole. It's a little bit different.
but let's just talk about the criticisms that they get for their art, right? And I feel like these people are doing something they love. They're getting paid to do it. This dude, I'm looking at his list of works, and it's vast, right? So either shut up and try to do what he does, or leave the dude alone.
And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not over here saying that like all of his books are good. There was one run that was absolutely fucking atrocious. I was like, oh my god, this is bad. But you know what I did? I said it was. I just left it alone. I also think that people are mad that he's married to someone from Saturday Night Live that's actually not that bad looking. I think they just hate him because like he's just an easy target. Like, but it's the same thing with Dan Slott. They were sending Dan Slott fucking death threats because of Superior Spider-Man.
Superior Spider-Man, yep.
People are just
He's married to Heidi Gardner. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, like people just take this shit way too serious, man. Like it's
exactly.
That's my thing about that. Like, we go on the show every week and talk about things we don't like. Like, you know what I mean? And yes, I'm going to continuously shit on movies that I don't like. But you know what I'm not gonna do? I'm not gonna go find somebody, tag them, and then call them a piece of shit. Like people really were on my dick for like a week. And I just kept sending them the Shayna Baszler kiss, like you know, when you put your two hands up and he kisses to the crowd. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then I would send that. And one dude got so mad, was like, you said that already. And I was like, yeah, and I'll send you another one. So I sent him another one. Because at the end of the day, it's not that fucking serious.
So he wrote Thor Love and Thunder?
Huh?
So Zeb Wells wrote Thor Love and Thunder?
I don't know if he wrote
on this,
I know he was part of the I know he was part of the writing team.
So I know a lot of people hated that movie, so I'm wondering if
I don't know. Me and Hobby talked about this. I didn't hate Thor: Love and Thunder. I thought it was like when I watch it again. Yeah, I didn't think Thor: Love and Thunder was as bad as everyone made it out.
I enjoyed it, and I don't know much people that are more of a fan of like uh 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 of the stories that movie is based on, and I didn't see a problem with it. Like I never really understood the hate. To be honest with you,
no one's as big as a Thor that run than you are. Got a couple more, and then we can. Oh, well, three more. To keep moving. Brandon, who's your hero of the year?
Catwoman.
That shocked me. That really, really shocked me.
Catwoman's book has been very good. The Gotham War is fascinating to me because essentially what Catwoman did was she unionized henchmen. She basically said, y'all are out here doing crazy shit for the Joker and Riddler, and they don't appreciate y'all, and they might kill y'all. And it's fucking up the city. So I'm gonna create this union. Y'all are gonna join the union. Y'all are gonna have demands, somebody representing y'all. I'm gonna set y'all up on jobs. The jobs are gonna be to non-violently take shit from the ultra rich. Instead of walking down the street and sticking up people in crime alley or robbing bodegas and taking food from needy people, I'm gonna send y'all to the Gotham Elite, and you can take their 17th Rolex watch or their third diamond earring or their fucking 15th diamond necklace, and you can take that shit and sell it and make money, and it ain't gonna hurt nobody. And Batman is like, this is bad, this is stupid, you can't do this, is a problem. And then they created this interesting thing because the Bat family, some of them, like particularly Batwoman, Batgirl, Nightwing, were like, Nightwing wasn't at first, but then he kind of moved towards the middle. We're kind of like, Tim, does Selena have a point? Like this just seems to be helping. Like crime is down big time in the city. This seems to be helping things. And so I thought Catwoman idea was fantastic. I thought that was a great contrast. Again, I love contrast to Batman because Batman is a hero, but he is highly flawed, a highly flawed hero. And I like when people point out his flaws. So I thought that was great.
I also want to say that I love what Chip Zdarsky has been doing with Batman. He's been tearing him the fuck down. Like just when you think it can't get worse for him, it does. And I love what they did with Catwoman as well. That was a damn good pick for Hero of the Year. Hobby, what you got? Or do you want me to go next?
You go next.
Storm. What more can we say? I think she's been the MVP of the X-Men. She's one of the few X-Men who haven't died. Never went through the resurrection protocol. Like Brandon said earlier, like she basically held that, held a planet together on her own. When she was given the opportunity to stop a war, but use like a force that could have like cost them their soul. She didn't do it.
Mm.
Did it in such a way that she reminded people that like this isn't how we win. This isn't how we do that. And when you're such a badass, that Thor's like, yo, I need your help like now. Like that says a lot. And
she's a leader of a whole planet, right?
I don't know if she's the leader of the planet because her whole thing has been no more no kings, no kings or rulers on Krakoa. Not Krakoa, Arako. Mm. And then her dropping the gravity of Jupiter on Thor. I hate this phrase, but chef's kiss good.
Well, not to be just not to be. Well, I'm gonna be nitpick, just the sciencey part right there. But it was the barometric pressure of Jupiter.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
don't need to be sciencey. Like it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been flexing, bro. She's been flexing for a while too. Like that's a solid pick. Like I don't know if anybody has beaten more Omega level mutants than she has in the past year.
It's it's funny. She was probably neck and neck with Magneto until he died.
Yeah, her and Magneto were like just flexing like crazy on Arako, which I missed that team up. All right. Want me to go now? Oh man. All right. So my hero of the year is just like Brandon, someone who isn't traditionally a hero, but I think especially in the past year, really did their thing. And I'm gonna go with Loki.
Ooh, good.
Yeah. And primarily Loki, in his show. Also, you did remind me, oh man, that this story, most of the story, happened in 2022, but it did end in 2023. So I'll just add this component to his whole heroism thing, him being the Prime Avenger.
Holy shit, he probably did save the multiverse, didn't he?
Yeah, he saved the multiverse in two. He saved two multiverses. So I don't know if anybody else can kind of like claim that that two multiverses in 1 year, which is amazing, and it's Loki, just crazy.
The name of this episode is going to be Loki saved two multiverses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got nothing, man. That was yeah. Hobby villain of the year.
Nimrod, bro. I know I said that really quick, but I mean he's not he's not like a household name villain and like that unless watched like the early X-Men cartoons. I think he showed up a couple of times with Bishop and Cable, but this dude has been killing heroes like it's nothing. Easy. Like this dude took out a whole X-Men team, including Juggernaut, in a few minutes.
Yep.
I don't know what kind of steroids they've been giving this dude, but Nimrod's on a whole nother level. And I feel like he's one of the biggest threats to mutants and to humanity in the Marvel universe, in actually on Earth. At this point, and can't wait to see how they eventually beat him.
Yeah, like it was so damn good, man. Like, Brandon, who you got? Or you want me to go next?
We got the same one, Orcus.
No, I picked somebody new. I picked from a different.
Oh,
I saw you picked Orcus, so I switched mine up.
I mean, they took over the Marvel universe, and their downfall is going to be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Hank McCoy.
Yeah, solid.
He's the worst. Like everything he did to Wolverine, everything he did to X-Force, everything he did to like just random like mutants, and then finding out that there's like alternate realities where he like it basically just like this invisible tyrant. I was like, yeah, you're the worst. Going Hank McCoy just seemed, and it was funny. I thought you were gonna go with Hank McCoy initially, though, because I know your disdain for him runs deep. So, also breaking news: Jason Aaron isn't just going to be writing Ninja Turtles. Apparently, he's going to be writing 4 different comic books. One will be Raphael. First one will be Raphael in July. Number 2 will be Michelangelo in August, Leonardo in September, and Donatello in October. It looks like the all new ongoing series begins in July, so it looks like they're going to start it off with 4 different issues, which I think is cool. The artwork looks fantastic. I can't wait for that. The best moment of the year, Hobby.
So the best, there's a lot of great moments of the year. But I'm gonna go with the Avengers Forever final battle. It was a team that built up a battle that built up all of 2022. The most powerful Avenger, like this is the most, without a doubt, the most powerful Avengers army. I wouldn't even call them a team, army that we ever seen, fighting probably one of the craziest evil forces we've ever seen, like essentially an army of dooms, right? And the consequences of this battle were amazing. Like the fate of the entire Marvel multiverse was at stake. I mean, this was on the level of like the Infinity Gauntlet as far as stakes goes, and it all the buildup that we had for over a year, it really lived up to the hype. We saw some crazy set pieces, we saw some crazy moments, and bro, like a freaking army, army of Captain Americas, which one of them is a dog who put in work.
One of my
Like
version variants, I should say, was the Captain Marvel who escaped imprisonment. That
the
made
Captain Marvel who jumps.
Yeah. Love that.
Amazing. Yeah.
I love that she just like is watching her overcome that was cool.
Mhm.
Captain America's story when they overcame was cool. And of course, my dog, the God of Fists.
Yeah, and then don't forget the Star Panther, right?
Yeah.
Like you had some of these characters, like again, these are immensely powerful characters, and we got a chance throughout that series to kind of see how they became who they became, which they didn't have to do, but it was awesome. And then Robbie Reyes being like really taking that mantle of the most powerful Ghost Rider and it making sense. And then Mephisto being the actual villain. Mephisto versus Loki, which is crazy, right? Just an awesome scene. I can't wait to see more things like that happen throughout the years.
Brandon, who you got?
It was when the Transformers showed up in Void Rivals. I was completely blown away.
Yeah.
By that. I did not expect it. I did not know what I was reading. I did not know the Transformers were involved here. I did not know they were coming back as a comic book series. I did not know any of that stuff was happening. And then I saw it and I was like, hold on, that's a Transformer. What is going on here? I did not know there was a Energon universe, and that just blew me away. I haven't been surprised a lot in comics recently, but that was a fantastic surprise.
No one should be shocked. I actually changed it a few times, but I finally figured out what my moment was. Kitty Pryde killed everybody.
I'm not surprised.
She just went and you know what my favorite part about that was is even after everything that happened, she gave them a chance. She tried to warn them, but I love that we got to see Kitty Pryde do some things that like I wrote an article of like she proved that she can be like hand to hand fighting with her powers. She could be the most dangerous mutant out there. She could beat Wolverine easily. Like you know what I mean? Like she's proven that like that's how dangerous. And I love every minute of it. She's just motherfucker. That was my moment.
I knew you were going to go with Kitty Pryde. I'm just glad I don't have to. I'm just glad no book has Jamie Madrox in it, where I got to hear you talk about him.
Like you're yellow lucky.
Where is he?
Huh?
Where is he?
Oh, he's dead. Fucking knows.
Nimrod killed him. Nimrod killed him off panel. Nimrod killed him off panel.
He was in a book in the beginning of this stuff.
X-Corp, but they canceled
X-Corp, yeah.
Corp was good and they canceled. People just weren't buying it.
X Corp was probably honestly X Corp was that was what I was most excited about. X Corp had such great potential, and I'm so angry people didn't read it because I felt like that would have been a great book.
It was. I thought it was super dope. It was one of my favorites, and it had everybody I loved. It had Monet St. Croix. It had Jamie Madrox.
Oh yeah, he was killed. Yeah, he was killed. I'm looking it up now where he's been.
But was he really though?
They said him and his duplicates were killed.
Yeah, okay.
Oh damn.
Yeah, right.
After acting as a human shield for his teammates, he was killed by Sentinels.
Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. But there's probably one of them. You never actually kill Madrox. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he always comes back. All right. This has been the Old Man Wade Show. I should have known better than to think this was only going to be an hour-long episode. I don't know what I was thinking. I got to go to bed. You can find, y'all can find us on Twitter. Go find the old episodes. They can tell you where to find them. I'm tired. I'm out of energy.
Yeah, this was a lot. I got so much to do today, bro. I got to film a whole scene tonight, but it was worth it.
I was like, I said to Valkyrie, I was like, all right, when I'm done with this, if I have enough time, we can watch the second episode of True Detective. Yeah, that's gonna have to wait until tomorrow.
It was excellent. So tomorrow you'll be good.
So it'll be fun. So funny story for you. My wife goes, I bet you like that woman on there. And I go, why? Why? Because she's light skinned? And she goes, no, because she looks like she can kick your ass. And I go, yeah, I do have a type, don't I?
And isn't your wife Cape Verdean?
Yeah, she's Cape Verdean.
She's Cape Verdean on the show.
Verdean with indigenous indigenous blood.
Yeah.
I just found out she was a former boxer too, so former champion on top of that. So all right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Bald Black Nerds podcast. And as always, be excellent to each other. Peace.
Bald black.
No!
Bald black. Bald black. Bald black. Nerd. Bald black. Bald black. Bald black.
Damn it, Wade!